Hey, what's up everybody? Anybody here? How's the audio compared to the music? Too loud? Too low? Hit me with it. Just preparing my VMs meanwhile here. Okay, let's see. Just check that everything's looking good here. Don't want to accidentally leak anything. That would sort of suck, you know. Okay, let's see. First off, webcam, go. Hey, here I am. I got a shitty beard going on. Need to shave it. Looks like crap, but other than that, I'm here. If only I had like the growth of John Hammond's beard. You know what I mean? If only I could steal his beard. If I could hack it, that would be great. Obviously can't do that, but if only I could, people. KKK. Let me get the VMs up and running here. I'm sorry for running a tad late here. I feel like I'm always running late. That's just how it is. Sometimes, you know. Luke making bagels. Those better be some good ass bagels. You gonna ship some to me? Me not getting bagels, me sad. How's everybody doing today? Everybody having a great Sunday so far? Oh, sup nerd? Oh my god, John's. Oh my god, I called him Gene. John's gonna troll me. He's gonna troll me this entire stream now. He's gonna be like, "You did it wrong." Gonna backseat hack me so badly. Jeans. I called John Gene for like the first month at GS. And he's still, you know, yeah. That's just how it is. Oh. Dox myself. So what's sort of the risk benefit here? Give Luke my address, I get potential bagels, or I get doxed. Not that it's hard to dox me, but oh my god, I'm gonna call HR. I'm gonna call her. Okay, so how can I like make a free account here? Maybe, what would the easiest way to be? Let's do office, because I could just use like my something. Sure, why not? Hey, waited here. What's up, man? What are you doing today? So today I'm gonna show you my favorite flowchart tool. I'm also gonna explain how CobaltBus works and what would be needed to make it, you know, increase the operational security to a point where I would actually consider using it on engagement. Because right now it's hella sketch, you know what I mean? Hey, stealth hackers here. I don't think I've seen that nickname before. Hi, dude. What's up? Not much. It's a dreaded Sunday again. Lol, all good on your side. I'm doing great. I just came back from my parents' house, gave them a visit, took a cup of coffee, rushed back here to stream for you guys, of course. And yeah, I think today's gonna be a good stream. So let me see. Let me just first. Okay. So can I like? I'm just wondering. Is there no? Okay. Why am I doing this live? Never mind. Okay, so welcome Peter. That's a burner off his account. So today I'm going to be talking about CobaltBus, which I released on the Norwegian cybersecurity conference HackCon a couple of weeks ago, I believe. 2 weeks ago. Time, man. Yeah, time in memory. And it's really cool. Let me show you the demo video here real quick. Oh, ads, great. It's Monday.com, people. Let's go. I hate ads. I actually have YouTube Premium on my main account. I hate ads. I can't stand them. Fucking hate ads, man. I can skip it. Yes, I can. So it's pretty cool. So basically, Cobalt Strike has this, yep, external C2 fun. So basically, Cobalt Strike has this external C2 implementation where you can get a pure TCP socket connection back to Cobalt Strike, and you can request a stager for a specific architecture with specific settings. Sure, I can lower the music a bit, sorry about that. Let's do -40 then. And you can yeah, I know. Varstas is so mad about that. So, and it connects back to Cobalt Strike, and then I can request, you know, a stager that would connect back over namepipe to a local entity. So, I think there's a better. Let me try to explain external C2 a bit better here. So, Cobalt Strike external C2. I think there's a great graph that somebody made. I want to say Outflank. Yep, this one right here. No, F-Secure Labs, sorry. So yeah, this is probably related to their C3 implementation, but let's take a look at this. So this is basically how external C2 works. So I would create a third-party controller, which would be the CobaltBus server in my instance, which would connect back to Cobalt Strike over a TCP socket connection locally on the attacker side on the local machine. And then I could request a stager, I can request data, I can send data through that TCP socket connection on behalf of beacons. And then I would create some sort of customizable C2 traffic layer. In this case, that would be, you know, the actual service bus implementation. And then whatever I create, the third-party client that would actually run on the compromised machine would talk back to the actual beacon in memory over namepipe. So my third-party controller would request a stager from Cobalt Strike. That stager would be passed on back to the third-party client, which would be CobaltBus client. That stager would be deployed in memory, and then a connection would be established over namepipe between that original Cobalt Strike beacon and my third-party client beacon or whatever. So it's pretty cool. And that basically allows us to create, as Stealth Hacker said, just an intermediary server, sort of our own customizable layer. And F-Secure has already abused this quite heavily. They released a framework called C3 a while ago, which is extremely powerful, and I'm surprised that this isn't like what everybody uses, kinda. What's interesting here is that I think F-Secure has gone out of their way to make the learning curve to start using something like this intentionally high. I know that sounds like, put it in your tinfoil hats, people. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I think that the learning curve to start using C3 is purely just based on the documentation intentionally high. So it's very hard for, if you want to use the word skittish, attackers to start implementing something like this, because just the README page, where did I see this? This blog for detailed tutorial. Look at this. This is they have a glossary on the README page explaining what they mean when they say a relay. And a lot of people are going to be like, what the fuck? This might be too complicated to even start to understand, and just skip this. As well as, yeah. So it takes a bit of a while to start really understanding how this works and how to compile and how to use it. But it's really freaking powerful. And I encourage everybody to take a read on it. If I were more familiar and sort of more in love with C, I would probably have just created a service bus integration on top of C3, because that would mean that you have all the other layers covered for you. The operational security level would have been covered. A lot of the generation and deployment level would have been covered. And yeah, but no, it's C, and it's for a lot of people, I guess including myself, just really hard to implement thing in. I have implemented something in this at some point, but not publicly, so whatever, right? C3 is really cool. Should just our CyberSec. Yeah, no, he seems to be the C guru, right? Just popping out buffs and everything. Anyway, C3 is really cool. And that's not what I want to talk about though, but that's how CobaltBus works, which I'm really proud of that name, by the way. So what you're seeing on the screen here is that I'm spinning us up the CobaltBus sort of team server integration on my end. It started as what I call a service bus listener, and then when Victon would run the client. What's interesting, I'll go into more depth about this a bit later on how this actually works, but basically what will happen is that the CobaltBus beacon, when it runs, it will generate just a random beacon ID and a random pipe name to distinguish them between each other, and then it will send what's called an initialize request down on the original queue that the service bus shares, and then the server would pick up that initialize request and it will pull a stager from Cobalt Strike using those variables and push it down. So you said, setting up a team server for beacon on this. We'll talk more about what this is because we actually switch queues when this happens. But yeah, it creates a new stager, moves into a dedicated queue, sends that stager down. Then on the client side, you see that we stopped the original queue handler and moved into a dedicated queue. It will receive the stager, so performing injection, got a beacon ID, and then yeah, we're up and running. It's really cool. And now we have basically a Cobalt Strike beacon running purely over service bus, which is really cool. Now, a couple of limitations to this. So the standard tire service bus, the default service bus, the cheap one, if you will, in Azure, can only handle messages of 256 kilobytes each. So I had, just to get like basic communication, screenshots, file browsing stuff working, I had to compress the Cobalt Strike output rather heavily and then smack it over the bus and decompress it on the other end. So as soon as you add encryption or some other stuff, you might break that max size for standard tires. You can just create a premium service bus and pay a kidney or two, and I think you could push like megs over the service bus message, even though it's not recommended. But yeah, so basic operations works over the standard service bus. At some point you would have to integrate some sort of batching of messages. So you would send like a batch request to the server would say, okay, I know that the next 10 messages is part of a batch and I can combine them on my end. But whatever, you would have some sort of logic for it. This, however, works great. It's really cool. What I thought was a bit interesting was that the after I posted this on Twitter, the InfoSec guys basically tweeted that they have a similar integration on their private C2 Nighthawk. They're expensive in private C2 Nighthawk, which is pretty cool. So that means that they also, another company definitely sees the value in this. So that sort of reassured that this was a cool project for me. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be using my favorite sort of flow charting graphical tool, whatever, called Lucid Chart, or just Lucid now it looks like, to create a flow chart over how Cobalt Strike or CobaltBus works. I'm a huge fan of Lucid. I use Lucid when I try to create graphs that I need to explain to the customer, like if I want to show how we went from an initial compromise to lateral movement to compromising the domain controller, doing whatever the customer wanted us to do. I like to use Lucid. From an operational security standpoint, never actually use the full company name of whatever client. Never try. Basically, the chart you're making shouldn't be related to the client in terms of wording and the company name and stuff like that. So try to keep it as sort of anonymized as you can. If you're creating this for clients, just like an operational security note, you don't want to put client name in Lucid because we don't know specifically how they store this stuff, right? But we don't care about that for CobaltBus, so we're going to go ahead and create a new Lucid chart from a blank document. Document. Sounds like, yeah. And okay, so let's create a couple of rectangles here. I feel like I'm doing like an Adobe Photoshop tutorial at this point. So this would be the client computer. And then this would be the Azure cloud. Hang on with me, people. Welcome back to me drawing rectangles. Oh wow. Meant for those enterprise C2s to leak. Yep. Would be interesting if Nighthawk leaks. Never tried it, so can't tell anything about it, but seems a tad bit expensive. But maybe it's like really good and that's why it's expensive. I don't know. All I can say is that with all these, like, that's a discussion we can have while I do this, by the way. With all these enterprise grade C2s popping up, You know, Brute Ratel, Nighthawk, Outflank, sorry, not Outlook. Outflank has some sort of custom paid tools as well. I definitely think Cobalt Strike is going to be dead from like a professional standpoint in a couple of years. I don't think Cobalt Strike is going to survive this because Cobalt Strike isn't... Obviously, Cobalt Strike is being actively maintained. Outlook C2N. But I don't think from the level Brute Ratel and the others are doing it. So, I think I think Cobalt Strike is definitely going to be used by threat actors for a long time just because they can get their hands on leaks online. I mean, yeah. Cobalt Strike is not hard to get. Let's just say that. Apparently not. Their screening process cannot be great since the new versions just leaks every like 03 version. A new version leaks. Not that that much has changed lately though. Okay, so this will be this. Let's make more space for the middle layer. The middle layer here will be the Azure Cloud and Service Bus. So I'll just add some text here and say that this is the Azure Cloud. Ooh. Magical, right? It is too many orgs threat model, it's in too many orgs threat model, which is why it won't die for red teaming either, since we're still trying to mimic the orgs TM. Well, I mean, not everybody is. I mean, if you're doing proper threat emulation, sure, definitely, but like if you're doing simulation, meh. The Twitter drama surrounding them. Well, we'll always see there's a new team behind CS now. That's true because Raphael dropped out, right? Or dropped out. He left the team or whatever. Client host. I would say compromised host. Compromised host. And then we'll do attacker hosts. He sold out counting his dollars. Yeah, probably made $1 or 10,000 or something like that on that. Like, yeah, not $10,000, but like he made a lot of money probably on getting out. It's interesting to see if they're going to start all over again or what is going to happen. That's 3 classes. That's a bit more than 3 classes. So that's shorten that. And this is 4 classes. Sure, I think... I mean, I think my prediction. I think my prediction is that there might be like they might. So sure, you can keep overhauling Cobalt Strike, but I just think that having a C2 that is built on a much better scripting language, or not built on, but like. Who has integration functionality with other scripting languages than fucking Aggressor Script would be great. I know they have some Python stuff now, but I fucking hate writing anything in Aggressor Scripts. I absolutely fucking hate it. I just hate it. I just absolutely hate it. So it would be interesting to see if they, I mean, maybe they're just gonna relaunch the whole product. You know what I mean? Just not start from scratch, but just redo the whole code base and basically start from scratch. It's really interesting to see if they're gonna keep overhauling it. If they're gonna keep overhauling it, or if they're just gonna sort of take the main code base and start all over again. I mean, with stuff like, I mean, look at the stuff fucking Brute Ratel, or I know that's not his name, but Paranoid Ninja is pushing out through Brute Ratel. Like, we're talking fucking, your beacon is a fucking, is debugging itself in memory, identifying hooks and unhooking them. Like, it's insane. It's a whole nother level of operation, and you might argue that you wouldn't want that because, you know, crashes and stuff if it's not properly reliable, which Cobalt Strike obviously it's been tried and tested for the last X years, right? But still, it's just that sort of level of innovation. That's where we are right now. And you know, if I started I'll say this: if I were to start my own company tomorrow, doing offensive operations, I wouldn't buy Cobalt Strike. I would buy Brute Ratel, by Paranoid Ninja. Maybe the Outlocks, Outflank stuff, maybe the Nighthawk stuff. I wouldn't spend my money on Cobalt Strike right now, if I were starting on my own. That's all I'm saying. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Cobalt Strike is definitely stable. It's definitely tried and tested. But yeah, a lot of start. I wouldn't say startup, but I mean, if you're a 2-3 man, sure thing. So if you're like a 2 or 3 man company starting up doing offensive operations, let's say you're doing malians and breaches. I wouldn't spend my money on Cobalt Strike, which I then after that would have to spend money on time getting past basically any antivirus CDR solution out there, when you can buy something like Brutal Hotel, and apparently it comes pretty dead in terms of signatures, and you have to do minimal effort to get it past basic antivirus products, instead of buying Cobalt, which is, you know, fingerprinted and signatured by everything ever. Also, C5S Spider tried some interesting stuff, waiting for his blog still low. Is that the... I don't want to say kid, but he's extremely young, right? Is that what I heard about? The 17-year-old guy making his own C2? I don't want to say kid, that's wrong, but he's a young fella, right? Cool. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't check that much. Abadi, hey, welcome to the chat, man. How are you doing today? Okay, so from the attacker host side, we will obviously have Cobalt Strike running. Let's see. So really cool feature of Lucid Charge is that if you go to shapes and images, you can search Google for images. So I can search for CobaltBus now. CobaltBus, no, Cobalt Strike. I'm doing great myself, Abby. Thanks for asking. So I can now like find a Cobalt Strike icon, hopefully. Icons isn't searchable. I guess nah. Guess we could use this. Sure, looks cool, right? I think I found another one when I did this not so long ago. How the fuck did I find that? I think it was, no, it wasn't this. Was it this? Maybe it's better to use this if I can crop it. So you can actually look up images through Lucid, which is pretty cool. Makes it easy to find like a Cobalt Strike icon that you want to use in your graphs, right? Image upload failed. Don't be like this. Come on. Oh, come on, don't be like this. Why are you like this? Okay, we'll use the Cobalt Strike logo for now. There we go. Hackster detected, banned from the platform. Is this YouTube? I've heard YouTube is... I don't know how YouTube is doing right now in terms of banning like offensive related content creators. Demo gods are on your side already. I didn't do my sacrifice. So I think I'm gonna have to make the attacker host a bit bigger. Maybe I should just like skip it. Yeah, we'll just skip it for now. I'll do the other stuff. So what I wanted to showcase is that the actual client, so let's make like, what is the client here? It was bad for a while, but seems they got their vids back after appeal, lol. I mean, the YouTube system is so broken. If they're basically assuming that if they ban you, you don't have a reason to appeal. Like, honestly, that's what they're assuming. I fucking hate that. I absolutely hate that. The fact that when you try to get back in contact with somebody who kicked you off their platform, you have to talk with a fucking robot. And the only way is that if you're properly known, you can talk to somebody on Twitter, maybe. You know what I mean? Try to reach out to somebody. I think that's just insane. So, CobaltBus server. So the CobaltBus server would talk to one instance of an Azure Service Bus. Evaded. I was doing a simple phishing demo a week ago. Simple social engineering toolkit stuff. Train some people how phishing works. I swear I tested cloning that webpage 30 times when I was at the home, but it didn't work during the fucking demo. Yeah, that's how it is. You didn't do your proper sacrifice. I don't know what you're supposed to sacrifice, like a drink or something? To the demo gods? Can I write Q? Oh my god. My English people. Is that how you spell Q? Be honest. So many squares. A tip, record a video. What are you supposed to sacrifice your firstborn? John, that was dark. Bad hammer incoming. Gotta sacrifice your next 100 chances of plugging in the USB correctly the first try. Well, that's never gonna happen. Do you ever pen test site-to-site VPN? I'm not sure I understand the question. I don't think I've pen tested a site-to-site VPN before. No. So the Cobalt server would put like no, sorry, that's wrong. So the compromised host, so many squares, people. I love it. The amount of squares is too high, too goddamn high. So the CobaltBus client would put a message on the outbound queue, which would be like an initialization message. And that message would contain some data, so we need to move this. Yep, and that would be this. And then this message, it would respond. Boom. And then it would like create a new queue. That's basically what it's doing. It's creating a new service bus queue. Dedicated service bus. What am I listening to? Like, is this jazz or whatever? What is this? We need hype music, people. Hype. I don't know what this should look like. Maybe just not a fucking square? I need to label these as well. Initialize request. That's initialize request. So you just do init request. Then we can like have the process like do injection. Cool. No, I do not always use Cobalt Strike for your red teaming. Depends on how many people we are on the gig. We might use a combination of Cobalt Strike and an internal C2, or we might not. It depends. Depends what we're going up against, the maturity level, what sort of level we want to be at, sort of to match the customer, what we think or expect the customer level is at, right? But we still use Cobalt Strike. For sure. We actually, if you don't know about that, we have our amazing developer or research team maintains a public situational awareness repository for Cobalt Strike buff files, which replaces a lot of the basic housekeeping commands in Cobalt Strike. You know, your view services, view queries, edit queries, like register operations, who am I, all that sort of stuff is replaced. So check out, if you go to the Trusted Sec GitHub, the public one, and check out situational awareness buff. There's a bunch of resources there you can use for Cobalt Strike. It's really good. It's all API calls buffs, of course. So that could save you from some fork and run operations for sure. Really cool. Check it out. So let me see if I can get like a binary Windows file going here. Binary exe icon. Correct. A lot of people do that. I'm not saying they intentionally did it for like... I'm not saying they did it because they wanted to use R specifically, but you know, Empire has a PowerShell buff loader, which allows you to load buffs. I know that, right, we released Cough Loader, and then we also, you have Paranoid Ninjas, Burrito Hotel, which we've talked about already, has buff support, as well as Nighthawk has buff support. So, I mean, yeah, Cobalt Strike definitely pushed for innovation there in terms of getting that running. Stager, what the fuck is that? Stager, or beacon, I should say. Beacon injected, and then we should have like a like that, and then I'll add like an arrow on both ends. I'm gonna call that name pipe. Name pipe. Could probably make the icon a bit. And then that target probably, yeah, we can keep it at 10 to make the text readable. I need to mess with more frameworks. Only really use TS and Covenant. So Silver, I've never tried Silver. I know that I've heard some good things about it. Empire, I mean, BC Security is putting a shit ton of effort into Empire. They claim that PowerShell is not dead. I'm not sure PowerShell is dead. For my operations, I could not have used, and I simply won't use PowerShell, simply because of the you know, the telemetry, the insight basically that defenders have in what's running PowerShell just gives it away instantly. In my opinion, for the organizations we're targeting, that would be the case. They do have some C# going. I know they have huge plans for making it C# oriented instead of having it PowerShell oriented with C# support, sort of going it back around. I think the thing I like about Empire is the CLI, and now they have the team server stuff going. Their CLI is really good. It's really great. It's really intuitive. Oh, it is. Silver's a free pass by AV. Cool. So I haven't checked out Silver. Should probably Sliver or Silver. So I'm just, it's Sliver. Okay. Lol, I just can't read. I said silver. Let me say that again. Sliver. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, everybody's writing sliver and I'm saying silver. What the fuck? Cool. Might have to check that out. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, come on, there we go. Oh, cool. Hi, it supports WireGuard. That's cool. Dude, wait, that is like an amazing learning path, though. I mean, I can imagine basically everybody at some point has done that if you're going into development. Because like if you're offensive security related and you know development, or you want to get into development, everybody's like, oh my god, make your own C2, that would be cool. And then you start watching some of Rastamas's older streams about him making the sharp C2 fundamentals, or like the base of that, and you realize how much effort and thought you have to put into this crap for it to be stable and to work. It's really cool though, but with honestly, like with all the open source C2s that's out there right now, I genuinely feel like there's absolutely no reason to build one from scratch. You could just pick up something, honestly. Just pick up something and you'll be good. Yeah. You honestly could. Like, there's no reason to start all over again for something like that. So I think, you know, I told Rastamas, and he laughs at this, but I tell Rastamas all the time, is that I think Sharp C2, just based on how much thought and effort he has put into that baseline, is probably one of the best baseline frameworks you can have for developing a C2, if you're down for doing it in managed C# code. At the very least, if you're building something in another language, you could totally like use whatever he did and just replicate it in another language. Yeah, and you know that's the whole mythic C2 framework that SpectreOps released, and they have a bunch of integration. I mean, like Asian implant implementations in different languages, right? I think Apollo is their main C# one, if I'm not mistaken. Might be mistaken. And that's like a super good. That's like a good example of that. Agree on Sharp 2 being, I referred that a lot over making. Sharp C2 is just sad to say. Sometimes Rastamas usually joins the, sometimes Rastamas joins the stream. Sad to see him not being here now that we're talking about his baby. But like Sharp C2, in my mind, one of the like greatest baselines ever. The fact that I can't find this, oh my god, Jesus. The fact that he has YouTube videos for a lot of like the base stuff is just like the cherry on top. Like in terms of if you want to use it as a base, you can still find a lot of his. Also, he has the course, which reminds me that I need to plug that. So actually, this is a true story. I'm sorry, this isn't paid or anything like that, but this is a true story, and I will drop my affiliate link. So like last week, I was doing something on operation, and I seriously had to go back to the Red Team's operations course by 0 Point Security, the company that Rastamas runs. I had to go into the course materials, which I had access to that for many years because you have lifetime access after you buy the course. I seriously had to look up stuff because I remembered he documented what I was about to do in his course, and I basically had to go back and look at it. And that should tell me it was not GPOs, it was something else. It was Kerberos related. So I had to go back and look at that, and that should say to you how much value, how good that course is. So if you haven't taken the 0 Point Security Red Team Operations course yet, I highly recommend it, even though I can't type. I highly recommend it, and I do so happen to have an affiliate link. I do so happen to have an affiliate link for that. He has two main courses right now. He has the C2 development in C#. Now, obviously, we're talking about C2, so if you're looking to implement your own C2 at some point, or if you want to understand all the thought and methodology that went into Sharp C2, take a look at that course. Of course, you have the Red Team's Operations course as well, which is freaking amazing. The lab is amazing. The exam is amazing. It's just great, okay? So I'm going to drop my affiliate link. Not because I'm a sellout, just because generally this is good. So, let me see if I can find my affiliate link here. Give me a second. There we go. So here's my affiliate link. You do whatever you want with that. If you don't want it, then you don't want it. Please feel free to do that. I'm not really planning on making money on this. Obviously, I don't have enough viewers to make money on anything that I do. But if you want to use that link, please feel free to do so. So, yeah. No, the Red Team Operations course is just fucking amazing. It's like, yeah. It's definitely for somebody and definitely not for everybody in terms of like, you would have to have a decent baseline on how stuff works, but it's absolutely fucking fantastic. I love it. I'm about to take the CRTO. Gonna be a struggle and a half, but well worth it. So is that the gigantic one by AD Security or something? Or are you referring to his course? I'm always confusing. Oh, you mean Rasta's? Cool. It's great though. It's great. It's absolutely great. The exam is good. I've not taken that many courses, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of courses. I like to spend much of my free time on this, so it sort of becomes redundant at some point. Or at some point, most of it becomes redundant. But anyway, I've taken, the initial offensive security OCP exam, and I've done the Red Team Operations exam by Rastamouse, and I know those are two completely different courses with two completely different goals. Favorite pastime activity drawing diagrams. I know it's two completely different courses. They have two completely different aims. But if you just look like from an exam perspective, the Red Team Operations exam is pleasant compared to OCP. I mean, it's not that I freaking love creating diagrams, but I think it's a great way to explain how this works, and that's why I'm doing it. Also, I want it to be like the main page for the README. What are we listening to? Fun fact with... sorry, can't see that website name. It's blurred. Probably... Yep, I am. Thank you so much. Cool. Fun fact about Lucid charts. Once you export the diagram as a PNG, you can just drop it back into the editor. It will convert it to edible formats. That's cool. I didn't know that. I should probably not release these diagrams in PNG then for customers to edit. just shorten down that path a bit, you know. So I want to show. No, I want to keep that. Oh fuck, I fucked up, didn't I? Yeah. Oh my god, why does it do it like this? I don't want to link this. Oh yeah, off-page link. I just want the fucking circle, dude. Thank you. Ah, no, it's Lucid. It's a Lucid charge. I haven't tried the draw.io. Let me check that what that is. Probably getting fished. Vated is fishing me. I got owned. Is it this one, Vated? Cool. Looks very, very, very familiar. Almost to the point where I'm wondering if it's based on the same system. This is Lucid charge. What the fuck? What? Oh, they have a desktop app? That should probably be better for operational security point. I'll definitely take a look at this point instead of having it in the cloud. You know, I love this, just having discussions with you guys. I think that's without a doubt my favorite part about streaming. Just having this general discussion why I do stuff in the background. I absolutely love it. I hope I can do this more. Right? Looks exactly the same. I hate that link stuff. I don't want an off-page link. I guess I could use a hexagon. That sort of tells it that it's logic, right? The drawing errors is equally wonky. I love it. Let's use the diamond. Init request. I'll do a question mark there just to prove that it's like a... Let's keep to bytes actually. No, I want this. I want this. Look at this. Okay, so I hope I can make this work. So can I like make this all dotted? Yes, I can. Because I want to be like, this is a, okay, cool. I've seen this before. What I'm about to do. So arrange, send item backward. Okay. That was the poop. Oops, that's something else. I want to like state that this is TCP. All this is TCP socket connection. That's what I want to state about having this like circles. I need to move it way back. Arrange backward. One more. Arrange backward. There we go. You know what I mean? I want to say that this is stage 1. General discussions with geeks can be fun. That is true. That is the reason we go to cons. Sure thing. This CobaltBus server field probably doesn't need to be this big. So we can make that a little less sizey, and then we can size this up instead to go around the text, and then we can move this a bit. We want to keep all the text over or in the line. That's also something we need to look out for, so it's coherent. Food time Europe, later rated. Yes, I want to state that this is an FTP, like this is a TCP socket connection. TCP socket. Yes. That's why I wanted that whole thing. And then I can probably reduce the size of that a bit. Like that, you know? Can move that there. Can move that there. And then this should obviously be Cobalt Strike, but I couldn't find a Cobalt Strike icon. Let's see if I can find that. This is exactly what I wanted. This picture right here. Give me. Can I like replace it? Duplicate, no. Crop image, no. There we go. This is the picture I wanted. No, don't want to do that. Stager request. There we go, people. Looking good, if I may say so myself. A bit like messy right now, Totally agree with that. But we'll make it work. Stop. Stage your... Wow, stage your request. So from an operational security perspective, what does the traffic from an implant in Azure look like? So right now, there's not even encryption. So what I'm doing right now is that, if I recall correctly, I'm basically taking the bytes from the command per sure. So let's say, you know, we initiated the beacon, command is flowing. What is actually cool is that unless the attacker host actually, so like the CobaltBus server, sorry about that, and client actually mimics traffic to their corresponding Cobalt Strike instances by when there's no communication. So the CobaltBus client will keep communicating to the beacon in memory every 10 seconds to make sure it's alive, and the CobaltBus server will keep communicating to the Cobalt Strike team server, I mean the client, I guess, every 10 seconds to make sure the beacon is alive. But when a new command is issued, that's when the actual communication happens. So a command is issued from Cobalt Strike, the command is picked up by the CobaltBus server. There's actually a local database here on the compromised host or the client host that keeps track of all the beacons. It goes to the database and finds the socket connection, reads the incoming command, sends that command on the dedicated queue. So each Cobalt Strike beacon has their own dedicated outbound and inbound service queue. This is to separate the data, the communication, operational security, I guess. And then when the command actually arrives to CobaltBus client, the client will stop doing the 10 seconds I'm pretending to communicate with you and actually send it. The actual traffic in the message, so the messages are all just JSON structure, and then the actual content or the payload is just the byte array from Cobalt Strike, base64 encoded and compressed and smacked into that message. And I think the whole thing is compressed again after that. And so an obvious concern here is that you don't have encryption on top of that layer. Obviously the Cobalt Strike beacon, the C2 communication there is encrypted on their end, but the actual message on the service bus isn't encrypted. Another thing to talk about is that each of these queues have dedicated connection strings that needs to be implemented in a way that you can't just, or sorry, that's wrong. An entirely new service bus isn't created, it's just queues. So it's good that you said that, because now I have to change my chart. My chart to, you know, oh fuck, no, it went fine. And that just creates these two. Oh no, I could have done this. I should have done that, and then I can take that and make like, this is a temporary create service, but create new queues. There we go. And then we'll make this a tad bigger. And we'll make this a tad bigger. Oopsie. There we go. And I'll just try to connect this to the inside here, which won't be possible, so fuck that. I guess we could do this instead. Oops. So what? That's a good question you said. So the actual service bus endpoints, the top domain is windows.net, and it's owned by Microsoft. So it's whatever you want. .service bus does windows.net. And what's even better is that service bus is very often used in integrations between legacy applications and cloud applications, because the legacy applications often can't keep up with the message flow from like on the API end from say like a cloud application. So the cloud application would push the messages on like a service bus queue, and then the legacy application will just pick those messages off the queue in their own place. And that's why, you know, on an internal network where you have developers running, seeing outbound connections to service buses will definitely not trigger like an immediate C2 detection response in terms of traffic. Unless they're watching the stream, I guess. I don't know. But no, yeah, it's I would say it's rather inconspicuous. Yes, the HTTP certificate is provided by Microsoft, and you can force it to only be HTTPS, which we definitely want. But it's definitely like from a detection standpoint on a network where they have Azure integrations, that's definitely where it would shine the best. So there's actually a database locally that keeps track of all the beacons. So it's already set up to be able to handle multiple beacons, which is pretty cool. Do you use code signing while using this thing in production? In terms of like, I never used this on an operation, and I probably won't use it on an operation until, you know, at the point where I can make it operational secure. And I would also need to reduce the file size drastically because it's pretty chunky right now since it adds the whole service bus library in C#. But no, we don't use code signing. So again, I think I need to make more space. That's like that. How many times have I changed that now? Cool. Stager request. Okay, I think I'm closing up pretty much where I want to be at in terms of this graph. I mean, looks okay. I think maybe the CobaltBus client side is missing a bit. But like, there's really not much logic in it, so... Yeah, okay, that's true. I'll definitely try to do that. Why not? Also want to sort of put out numbers in this graph. Yeah, the lines never be straight, man. So I think like numbers, I want to put out numbers, you know what I mean? So maybe that's like number, to try to show the sequence, like how this happens. How would I do that? There's really not much space for that. I could probably just list that under, like have like a list under explaining that first, you know, the CobaltBus client is executed and sends a stage request, generating a new pipe name, and yeah. I might just add a list. Would it be possible to proxy CobaltStrike directly over service bus with Malleable? Like you're thinking Malleable profile or... with Malleable, yeah, no, that wouldn't be possible because you would have to have a really heavy logic on how you handle connection strings and the access keys to be able to create and move into different queues. I think if Malleable supported more logic, it would be possible. And I guess at like, nah, you need a custom handler. Yeah, you need like, unless Malleable suddenly became like 10 times more flexible, and you could have full-fledged logic in it, then maybe. But nah, there's no way to configure a Malleable profile to be compatible with what the different service bus endpoints expect right now. But that's a solid, I like the thought though. I love the thought. So maybe that could be an innovation for CobaltStrike, is to upgrade the Malleable profile to be like dynamic in terms of logic. Maybe you could have, yeah, and that's also the thing, like, for example, with Brute Ratel, you could switch out what his C2 framework refers to as Malleable profiles on the fly. You can't do that with CobaltStrike. If I wouldn't change Malleable profile mid-operation, I would have to split up a new team server and move over to it. Yeah, I've ran into the exact issue with domain borrowing. Yep, where Malleable wasn't flexible enough to control the SNI field. So, you know, if Malleable was more flexible and more extensive in terms of logic, there's a lot more abuse to be had in like software as a service applications, both, you know, in the cloud and publicly exposed. I think somebody in chat at some point suggested that you could use like live Python compilers or Python debuggers to like store and forward C2 traffic. If you could do something like that, that would be really interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna try to export this as a PNG and then see what happens. So export as PNG. Let's not do transparent. Let's do high quality, crop to content, download. Let's see if I can open a new document in it. New from Lucidchart. So looking good, people. I love the graph. Looking good. Domain borrowing is cool. It's exactly that. Domain borrowing. Let me see if I can create a new document here. Blank document. Let's see what happens if I like upload this picture. Where did I store that? Blank diagram, let's try. Hey, what's up, 360 crowd style? I'm doing great. First time seeing you here. Or at least they count. Nah, so it doesn't seem like it has that feature evaded. Cool, cool, cool. I'll be sure to update the repo with this. You sort of caught me at a bad time, 360 crowd style. I'm about to. We're closing in on ending this stream. I have to do some work. I have to get some stuff done. What? We've been streaming for 1.5 hours? Shut up. Okay. Wow, that was fast. That was just creating graphs and flow diagrams really flies by the time, eh? It really does. Okay, so I'll post this flow diagram on GitHub. I hope you all sort of. I hope you can join earlier next time. So sorry that you joined in late, X Jones. Really hope to see you here next time. I'll note it down to make sure you're there next time. OPSEC stuff, yeah, true. I mean, if you wanna take a look at the project free field, I think one of the first things I would do is to add AES encryption and do some sort of safe key exchange between the service buses, and then have to, between like the client and server, and then also I have to find out how to properly handle like the switching between the buses to make sure that like if somebody gets a hold of the client, they can't just connect to any bus and listen to any bus. There has to be some sort of access key exchange to switch over. I really appreciate you guys joining in. I hope you had a blast. A bit of a different stream today. Not so, I guess, not so technical in terms that we didn't do as much technical, but we definitely did create something. I think it's always, I mean, trying something that's interesting. I do have something huge coming up that I can't tell you about just yet, and it's pretty huge. I can't tell you about it just yet, but I'll keep you informed as soon as I can talk to you about it. But something's definitely happening in the near future. Okay, I hope everybody has a great Sunday. Looking out to see you next Sunday. And, you know, hope you all have a great work week when that comes. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a happy Monday when that comes, guys. Appreciate you joining in. Bye-bye.